don't have much time. 1 hour is pretty fast.
You could do 2 if you want. No problem.
Now I'm gonna try to do my best. You know, like most of the times I need like 90 minutes for what I want to do. But like try and rush it. So yeah, I'm Neik. I'm 26 years old. I'm from Holland. I'm from Rugged. I've been dancing since I'm 14, so 12 years now. And yeah, like from practicing, like where we started, we didn't have any knowledge, you know. And we had to do this, like you go to workshops and try and get information because there wasn't people around us that had that information. Here it's easy, like you can go directly to original bboy from back in the days, you know, and he lives around the corner. So you should be lucky that you have the opportunity to ask questions. But yeah, me, I progressively got more information, and through the years, I started to realize a bit like my own philosophy on dancing in general, not just breaking. But my philosophy is kind of based on mind, body, and soul, right? Those 3 aspects is what defines how you dance and who you are and everything in general. You know? Like as a dancer, when you have those 3 aspects and you understand them, you can use them to improve yourself, you know? Because like let's say you have somebody that focuses like mostly on his body, they'll probably have amazing power moves, you know? Be really flexible and strong. You know? And if you have somebody that focuses mostly on his mind, he's really creative, he's really different. You know? And somebody that focuses more on the soul probably won't have as much form, won't be so strong, but he only cares about the music. And for all of those 3 aspects, there's something to say. Like to me, they're all equally important. And in 1 hour that I have, I kind of want to show you like how you can like understand those aspects, because for sure you understand it already for yourself. The way I interpret it, I'm going to try and make you understand my philosophy behind it, and yeah, you can find out for yourself like, okay, where am I? What did I do? What didn't I do? And what can I do better? Because I feel that let's say you're a power mover and you focus only on your strength and being able to do those basic tricks makes you good, you know. But at the same time, if you start to use your soul in your power, you're gonna become much more crazy than only having amazing skill. You know what I mean? It becomes something magic. It's the same for your mind. You can put your creativity into something that also gets you more. So yeah. Basically, I'm not telling you anything new, but for me it's more the reason that I'm not from original generation, and if you want to have like basic information, you should go and take 4 months class, for example. He has a killer class, really good class, and he can explain you the feeling of breaking and the real basics and stuff. So for me, I'd rather teach you this and show you something like this. Maybe you can use it in the dance. Practice. And that's something that's only good. Okay? So let's start with a little warming up, just some ups, and then we're going to go. Yes. basically, my advice for you, for anybody who tops, is try to avoid doing too much basic rhythms like this. Yeah, the ta. It's really easy. Yeah, and you don't really get the musicality from this. You know, if somebody's on beat as a drummer, but he only does this, you won't be like, oh shit, he's such a good drummer. You know, you want to hear, you know. So it's the same for you. When you dance, if you practice your tops from really simple basic, and you expand from there, you get much more musicality and you're much calmer in your dance. You know, so if you would only work with this, boom, ta, boom, ta, boom, boom, ta, boom, boom, ta, boom, boom, ta, boom, ta, you know, it gives you more rhythm. So try to work from being calm instead of being always on boom, boom, ta, boom, boom, ta. Yeah. The other thing is what you can work on is the controlling of your body. A lot of people only focus on their legs. You should try to use your shoulders, use your chest, you know. Like it really helps you in your shape. Use your hips, you know. Like only doing this step. If I do this step, boom. Like here, and then this, it's like it comes out, you know. You move, and you can move your shoulders backwards. You can move it to the front. You can do a rollout, you know. There's a lot of stuff you can do only with your shoulders. Same goes for your waist, you know, your hips. Yeah. The more you learn to isolate your body, your head, you know, try to do stuff with your head. Like really, it's gonna help you to be different. Because sometimes you can just stand still, you know, and your legs are moving, you're still dancing. You know, and a lot of breakers forget about that part. Okay, more. So, body. Body is basically about being disciplined to yourself, not lying to yourself. You know? A lot of people, when I do a workshop or something, they ask me, yeah, can you teach me air flare? And then I go, okay, do a handstand. And then you're like this. And you're like, okay, maybe you should practice your handstand first. You know? So, there is some making shortcuts, of course, in breaking, but it's better to really do it properly, because then you're going to have the right technique. And the rule in anything is the more technique you have, the less strength you need. You know? If you're really strong, you can do an air flare without technique. You know? When you look at Junior, you can do an air flare, but the form in his body doesn't make any sense. But he can do it, you know? Because he's so strong. He's like, that's easy. So if you're strong like Junior, never mind what I said. If you're not so strong, here's a little advice. So I'll give you a little exercise. Something you can do, something you can adapt to your own practice. Okay? I'm just going to do it with basic freezes. Yeah. So all it is just a number of basic freezes, the smallest possible transition there is between those freezes, linked together. You know? Nothing new, nothing crazy. Okay? And all you have to do is try and do the same. Okay? So I'll show you once. Only basic freezes. So we start with handstand, go elbow freeze, switch, go to the head, normal freeze, pike, baby, chair, other side, chair, go back, baby, pike, freeze, head, elbow, handstand. Okay? So, if you practice this, it means you're going to get control, right? Let's say you fall somewhere and you go down, boom! It doesn't matter, you can catch yourself. You know?
Nice.
That way you can never really crash. You know? Plus, you practice the, I don't know how you call this, like the reach you have, you know, in your shoulder. Flexibility. You have the flexibility in both of your arms, you know. If you want to do halos, you can do halos like this, boom, and push, but it's so much easier if you can do this and push, you know. So, yeah, there's nothing really difficult about this. It's just you have to practice it, okay? So, handstand, elbow, switch, head, freeze, pike, so in the side, yeah? maybe, chair, and then back up.
Does somebody else want to demonstrate?
Okay, give it a try for yourself.
Any volunteers?
Give each other some space. Let me give you one advice. If you want to look good doing it, try to do it on the music. You know? When you hit beats, you're going to be more clean. Okay?
Good work, great. Seriously.
Okay, I don't have much time, so do it at home. My advice to you is to do both ways. Okay, so if you first start like this, going down with right to the left, right, left. The second time you do it, you go down, left, right, because then you have really all the transitions. You know, you have right, left, down, left, right, left, up, left, up. Understand? So this is just basics, okay? If you can't do these basics, you should practice them because it's going to help you in anything you do, okay? Like, seriously, switching your arms, being able to do baby freeze both sides, it's not that hard, and it's going to help you, really. Even with creativity, you know, like, if you have those basics down, you can, like, go from here, switch, go to the other side, you know? Like, you have much more freedom if you have both sides. You understand? Okay, now let me give you an example of technique versus strength, okay? Can somebody show me handstand to elbow freeze and switch? Somebody. One
Come on, get up. Don't be shy.
Handstand, elbow freeze, switch, okay. Somebody else, one more.
Okay.
Handstand, elbow freeze, switch. Okay. Now, you can do it on strength or you can do it on technique. I prefer to do it on technique because I'm lazy. Right? So all I do is instead of shifting my like how do you call this? Pushing myself up and using my strength.
Shifting your weight.
I shift my weight. Yeah. So let's say I'm standing here. All I do is this. And then I'm on the other side. So I'm not going to do this, pick myself up and this, you know, that's really stupid to do. It's much easier to do this. You know?
Nice.
So it's like sometimes in your technique, if you're smarter, it saves you a lot of strength. It's the same when you do your air flares like this or like this is going to help you. You know? It's not that complicated, but it's something a lot of people don't do themselves. You make a mistake and you keep making the same mistake over and over. So try this for yourself. Handstand, go down and switch your weight, you know? And switching your weight should only be this.
I don't know what that means.
You're here, so do this. Yeah. You should only be picking this elbow up and putting the other elbow down. That's all it is. Yeah? Yeah. You feel the difference between the first and the second? So there, you save yourself 50 calories.
Not quite.
Save yourself.
Not quite.
You're still making yourself up.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Who was it? Who was it? Oh. Yeah. Cool. All right.
Okay, I'm going to continue because I don't want to waste time. It's just so you understand the concept, okay? This isn't everything you do. If you're doing, let's say, a chair, there's people, they do this when they go to a chair. It's really stupid to do that because all your weight is going to your foot. What you have to which you have to divide your weight. So when I go to a chair, first I divide my weight and then I put my feet down. So divide my weight. You see the difference between doing this pump and doing this? It's a big difference and it makes it much lighter on your body. So all I can tell you is just to clean your technique. Stop doing stuff on strength and start doing it on technique. Yeah, the last thing I can tell you about body is that, okay, you know Dragon Ball Z?
Hell yeah.
When you have Dragon Ball Z, first you have Super Saiyan, and it's impossible, you know? And one guy can get it, and then after you have Super Saiyan 2, and it's impossible. And then you have Super Saiyan 3, and 4, and 5, and Gogeta, and whatever, you know? And you should think the same way. If you think an air flare is impossible or a backflip is impossible, you're never going to learn it, really. Because you're blocking yourself, you know? You have to think that anything is possible, you know? If I really, really want to, I bet I can do my leg there. I don't have the motivation for that yet. I'm sure I can do it. There's a lot of stuff I thought I could never do, and I put my mind to it, and that's all it is, you know, it's going from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5, and maybe air flare seems really hard, but if you start by just doing like handstand for 1 minute, and trying to do this stuff, you know, and learning to balance yourself, and learning how to grab and control, after a while, the air flare is easy, you know, and then you can start thinking about doing those pocket ones. So, seriously, that's all it is. It's only little steps. Yeah? And the only way you're going to learn how to do it is by pushing yourself. A lot of people, like, they say that I can't do flare. And then I'm like, okay, show me your flare, and then do this. How come I stop? Stop pushing. Yeah, you stop pushing. If you stop pushing, nothing's going to happen. It's the same when you do one air flare, and you do this, nothing's going to happen. You're never going to do the second one. Yeah, and one air flare should be this. This is one air flare, because that's when you start the second one, right? So people think that like, oh, I landed, that's one. No, one is when you go to the second one. It's the same with the flare. If you want to learn the flare, just start doing this shit forever until you get it down, you know, and then you can pick the body. You know, it's just about your mentality. If you're like constantly thinking, oh, I can't do it, or it's too hard, then you're lazy on your body. You know, people ask, how can you get fast? Just pretend like you're super fast every time you go to the floor. You know, don't do this. But like, if you put your mind to it that your body is fast, you're going to adapt. Your body is going to adapt. You know, if you want to learn to run the marathon, it's not overnight. You have to change your muscles in order to do that. And this is the same. You know, if you want to have like explosive muscles, don't practice like this. Because you're never going to get explosive muscles. You have to like really force your muscles to be like boom, pop, pop, you know, like that they get strong and fast. Okay? So basically, when you're talking about body, no matter if it's flexibility, strength, endurance, whatever, you know, it's all about your mind. Your mind is the only thing blocking you from achieving that goal. You know? So, if you're running down the street and you run for 2 miles and you get tired, it's different than if you're running for down the street. 5 dogs are chasing you. After those 2 miles, you keep going. You know? Otherwise, you're fucked. You know? and that's all it is. If you you have to realize that your body can do much more than what you think it can do. You know, try doing it for yourself at home. Do 50 push-ups until you're like this. You know, like it's impossible to continue. And then, fuck it, you do 1 more. And trust me, you can do it. If you put your mind to it, even if it goes like this, and the last one is like this, then you go back up. That's the push that you have to make every time you practice. You know? Every time. If you only do 1 of something, you're never going to get 2. Trust me. Really. It's like this is the dumbest thing ever to constantly keep trying to do the same thing, make the same mistake, and expect a different result. You have to crash, and you have to fall, and you have to get those burns on your shoulders in order to get those moves. And it's all about you pushing yourself. And the harder you push yourself, the faster it's going to go. You want to be good in 2 years? It's all about pushing yourself. You know? You want to be good in 20 years? Take your time, relax, and you want to do that. That's fine. Okay. So you understand what I mean? This is something really, all of you, anyway, doesn't matter how far you are, how good you are, anybody can do this better for themselves. You know, like how you practice when there is like people around that aren't from your normal regular practice spot, and you're like, okay, I'll do my best. Yeah. So you should be that person for yourself that's always saying, okay, I shouldn't be lazy today. You know, especially if you do school or you're working and you have 6 hours of practice in a week and that's it. Man, use those hours, you know, push yourself really, and you're gonna get better, fast. Okay? So yeah, that's body to me. Okay? You can take it how you want. If you want to be lazy, be lazy. You're gonna have a nice, relaxed style that flows out. It's mind blowing. Okay? So the second thing is your mind. Okay? This is a little bit more complicated maybe, in the way that there is a lot of factors, okay? So to me, your mind is like who you are, okay? Like you have, of course, a certain degree of, okay, your body is thin, or your body is tall, or you're small, or you're really stiff, or whatever, you know? Like there is some factor that makes you look how you look, okay? But besides that, every choice you make is a choice, and every choice you make determines how you look afterwards. You know? And in Holland, for example, that's the most important thing. Like in Holland, that's the #1 rule. You know, like you can't look like everybody else. You know, you have to be able to recognize me on the most shitty video that's like all pixelated and be like, wow, that's that guy. Like that's how it should be. And if you don't have that, then you don't matter in Holland. You know? You can do 30 air flares and nobody cares. You know? They just want to see something they haven't seen before. You know? So that's the mentality in like where I come from. You know? It can be different for you, but still, no matter what, there is choices you have to make. You know, the choice: are you going to do this, or are you going to do this, or are you going to do that, or are you going to do this, whatever you want to do. But it determines how you look afterwards. Are you going to sit like this? Are you going to sit like this? Are you going to sit like this? This determines how you look, okay? And people underestimate the power of this, really. Like, let's say, only talking about form, right? If I would tell you now to take one thing that you do, for example, you do this, okay? You thread. You can do it like this, and it looks good. But if I say, okay, I want to better my form, maybe I'll think about what I can do with my arms. You know, maybe I can do something so you can see what I'm doing. I can grab it, thread it, so it has more of an effect, right? If I'm on the floor and I want to show you that I'm like gliding or something, and I can do it like this, it looks like a glide. But if I add the feeling to the rest of my body, it's going to look much more like a glide. You know? So that's like those little things that create your form is all choices you make, whether you do it consciously or not. But when you start realizing those little things, you can improve yourself. In 1 week, you can look twice as good. Trust me. Okay, watch. Example. I have this from Jord from Holland. It's a really good example for a 6-step. Only 6-step because everybody can do this like this. Okay? Let's say we're in the last step for a 6-step. Okay? So we're here. And we're going to go this way. Can you do the last step and the first step for me of a 6-step? So the last step and the first step. Go ahead. So I mean like you do the last and then you continue to the next 6-step. Yeah, okay, go back the other way. Okay. Do it again. Okay, back. Now watch. You can decide how you want to look, okay? You have this one, or you have this one. Yeah? And this one is what's going to make you look like it has a flow. You know, if I do this, and I'm here, and I do this, it has a continuous flow, you know? It's not like 6 steps, it's a 6 step. It's an entire thing, you know? From here until here, it's one motion. You know, that's what you want to get. That feeling of a one motion. Now, and this is really simple to explain. So you sit like this. All you have to do, instead of doing this, putting your foot down, putting this one here, you draw a 6 on the floor with your leg. So, like you have this leg, it moves this way. When it comes here, you twist, and it kind of kicks the other one. Boom, it goes this way. Same the other direction. So when you're here, this one comes here, kicks the other one. You know? You see that flow that the one motion gives the other one? You're here, boom. You go the other way. Same thing, boom. Okay? So this is form. Okay? Form is what determines how it's going to look. Yeah? Are you going to do this? Or are you going to do this? And I'm not saying one is bad and the other one is good. I'm just saying, what do you prefer? Do you prefer to look like this, or do you prefer to look like this? You know, you have to be conscious of what you're doing. You know, that's how you are going to look. Every time you're doing this and you didn't think about it, it has never been a choice for you. Because there's so many things you can do. You can even add arms. You can do this, boom, or you can do this, boom. You know, those little things in your form, they make all the difference. You know. If you do the same step, but you throw your legs and you do this, you know, it creates a whole different step. And it's still this, it's only this. You know? It's like, how do you decide to switch sides? It's like, you want to do this, here, switch, you want to switch here, you want to switch here and do this, you want to switch here and do this, you know? It's all decisions, you know? But form is so important to the way you look. Okay, so what I want to do, really quick, is you take one step that you have, okay? Doesn't matter if it's really basic or really complicated, it can be a freeze, it can be flow, it can be whatever you want, okay? But I want you to take the original that you already had and look at the form, you know? And try and think about what you can do to add more form to it, you know? So, doesn't matter what it is. Okay? It can be something really small, like doing this, boom,